Bellator 273, Bader versus Moldovsky, 11 fights on the card. Now, the main card is looking solid. I do believe they could probably put Darrion Caldwell and Enrique Barzola on the main card. I mean, they could. I mean, usually in UFC cards and Bellator cards, they kind of have 5 fights on a lot of those main cards. I'm not too sure why they're putting Darrion and Enrique on the prelims. Maybe just to build anticipation for the main card with all the prelim watchers to maybe sway them over to buying the actual pay-per-view, but or getting on a Showtime and buying that subscription. But it's going to be a good card right here. Ben Parrish, Big Tuna fighting Sullivan, Cauley, Fabricio, Franco fighting Weber, Almeida. That one just got announced after Josh Wright withdrew. Blaine Shutt versus Nikita, Mikhailov, Duane Johnson, Dalton Rosta, Chris Gonzalez, Saad, Awad, Darrion Caldwell, Enrique Barzola, Jaleel, Willis, Sabah, Homasi, Aiden, Leah, Henry, Corrales, Islam, Mamedov, and Benson, Henderson, as well as Valentin Moldovsky and Ryan Bader. Of course, we got our full card prediction to go through, but if you do want to see the bets that I will be making on this card, as well as every UFC, Bellator, PFL, and literally every MMA organization, if you want to see all the bets that I will be making, skip to the very end of the video, the last 15 to 20 seconds of this video, and click the profile picture on the left of your screen. $3 a month, all of my MMA bets for every single organization. Like, subscribe, and let's get into the predictions right now as we go on to the Bellator light heavyweight division. Ben Parrish versus Sullivan, Cauley in the light heavyweight division. Now, Ben Parrish is going to be closer to the prime of his career. He's got a lot of power. He's going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit less in terms of reach right there, but he's got power. I mean, he went out there, absolutely destroyed Christian Edwards in only 38 seconds of the very first round. Before that, fighting in some regional organizations, getting a lot of submissions, but it's not only those submissions, he's got the power to knock you out as well. That was a very impressive win. Now he's fighting Sullivan, Cauley, more of a, I would say, wrestler and grappler type of guy, although he does have his striking strengths every now and then. A trainer with Ryan Bader as well. I think most likely it's going to be a very close fight. Most likely we're going to see a knockout. Either Sullivan Cauley goes out there, takes down Ben Parrish, and just starts ground pounding for that TKO, or Ben Parrish defends the takedowns and gets a knockout on the feet. But it's a very close fight on any given night. It could honestly go either way. But Ben Parrish knocking out Christian Edwards, I mean, that really stays in my mind right now. I can totally see Sullivan getting a takedown, winning in the wrestling and grappling, but Ben Parrish, I underestimated him last time, and I paid the price for that one. So I'm going to go Ben Parrish right here by first round knockout. It's going to be a really good fight in the light heavyweight division. Weber, Almeida, and Fabricio Franco in the featherweight division. Now, Fabricio is going to be 27 and a half years old, losing in combate to Miguel Villegas. Now, I'm going to say it right now. This is probably one of the lower ranked guys that Weber Almeida is going to be fighting, especially fighting Fabricio Franco on short notice. Originally, the fight was supposed to be Weber Almeida versus Josh Wright. Still would have gone Weber Almeida to win the fight, but he's a very good striker. First round knockout win, second round knockout win, first round head kick, and a lot of other knockouts. The only fight he lost was the last one of Johnny Soto, a really solid wrestler and grappler. A guy that is only lost to Adil Benjalani, a very solid guy that fought UFC guys like Kevin Kroom and then Chris Lencioni, who is also pretty solid, but it's going to be a pretty much striking masterclass in my opinion. Weber keeping the fight on the feet and eventually finding that mark and knocking out Fabricio Franco in the first or second round. Really good fight in the featherweight division. Lucas Brennan and Ben Lugo in the featherweight division. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a very easy prediction, but that's the thing with Bellator fights. Minus 1,500, obviously, I'm going to go Lucas Brennan to win the fight. Bellator wants him to win. The odds are definitely favoring him to win. He's 21 years old, getting better every single time he goes out there. Very good jiu-jitsu, very good wrestling. All wins coming mainly on the ground by submission, TKO, and a dominant wrestling and grappling decision. I'm gonna go for him to win the fight by submission in the first or second round, obviously, but you never know. I mean, Ben Lugo is coming off a majority decision loss, decently close fight with Natan Levy in the LFA, and he didn't look too bad in it. I mean, Natan Levy is also a decent wrestler and grappler, and he looked decent. But other than that, 0-1, 0-4, 0-3, 1-1, and 0-1. Not facing the best competition there. This is by far the biggest fight of Ben Lugo's career, and Lucas, he's a crazy grappler. So I got Lucas Brennan winning that fight by submission in the first or second round. Really good fight in the featherweight division. Nikita Mikhailov and Blaine Shutt in the bantamweight division. Nikita Mikhailov, what do you want me to say? He's going to win the fight, guys. 23 years old. He's going to be 1 inch taller and have a 3-inch reach advantage. Another fight, Bellator is definitely looking for Nikita Mikhailov to win the fight. The only loss for him was on the Russia regional scene over Alexander Poladitsky. I don't know how to say the name, but I'm probably saying it wrong. This guy has only lost to very legit guys like Tagir Ulanbekov, a UFC fighter, and a lot of other solid guys. But Nikita Mikhailov, all around very, very good MMA fighter. A lot of decisions, but he is a very, very good grappler. He's got very good submission skills, but he's mainly going out there to mainly control you, ground and pound you, and kind of point strike on the feet. He doesn't have the most power out there, but he's got really good technique in the striking, very, very good wrestling, and I do believe wherever the fight goes, he's going to have the better striking, the better grappling, the better clinching, and all that type of stuff than Blaine Shutt. Blaine Shutt is a decent wrestler, I would say. He's got a couple submission wins on his record as well. That's why I'm going to say for all of you guys, probably don't parlay Nikita Mikhailov, to be quite honest with you, because Blaine Shutt could pop out of submission out of nowhere. He has been kind of one of those guys that has popped out submissions out of nowhere, even as the underdog that he is. So you never know with this type of fight, but Nikita is going to be, in my opinion, the better wrestler, the better grappler, the better striker. Just doesn't have that finishing capability. So I think the fight goes all the way. Nikita Mikhailov by unanimous decision. Dalton Rosta and Duane Johnson in the middleweight division. 6 wins, 2 losses, and 5 wins and 0 losses. Height and reach, very, very even. But Dalton Rosta, man, this dude is an absolute beast. He's shown some pretty solid striking. I mean, he beat Ty Werder, Tony Johnson, mainly off of the wrestling skills. Also beat UFC fighter Cody Brundage, but mainly he is going out there to take it down, out-wrestle you, ground and pound you, and look for the TKO type of victory. But his kicking game on the feet, his boxing, is nothing to be ashamed about. It's very, very solid on the feet. I don't think it's necessarily gonna, like, if he was in a straight kickboxing fight with most of the guys in the Bellator middleweight division, do I think he wins? Probably not, but he definitely has that wrestling to fall back on. And fighting a guy that has literally fought no competition, 3-8, 4-9, 0-3, 7-22, 2-1, and then 3-1. Those are decent guys right there, but they're definitely nowhere near the level of Dalton Rosta. I'm gonna say that right now. Dalton is going to go out there and I think put on a finish here. Duane Johnson, his only 2 losses have been decisions, but those are 3 years ago. He hasn't faced anywhere near the competition of Dalton Rosta, and I think Dalton, at this stage in his career, he's going to be looking for that finish to really propel himself in this middleweight division. So Dalton Rosta, TKO, first or second round. Really good fight in the middleweight division. Saad Awad and Chris Gonzalez in the lightweight division. Now, Saad Awad, interesting fighter here. Very good veteran, knocking out Nate Andrews in his last fight, knocking out Ryan Couture, Zach Freeman, Evangelide Santos, if I'm saying that one correctly, but he's been around the block, is what I'm trying to say. He's fought in Bellator ever since 2013, and even back all the way here in 2009 at Bellator 10. Absolutely insane. But he's fought beasts: Benson Henderson, Brandon Gersh, Kyoto Yamauchi, Paul Daly. That is a treacherous little streak right there against some really, really solid opponents. Now he's fighting Chris Gonzalez, a very, very good wrestler. He's in the prime of his career right now, and I think he's just going to go out there and out-wrestle for 3 straight rounds. His only loss is Kyoto Yamauchi, a very, very good wrestler, a very good wrestler and grappler in this Bellator division, and I'm going to be honest with you, That's not a bad loss. Gyoti Yamauchi is not a bad loss by any means, but Chris, I mean, his wrestling is so much better than Saad Awad's. Of course, Saad probably is going to have the boxing advantage, the power advantage, the speed advantage, all of that type of stuff, but it only takes a couple of shots here and there, and then eventually Chris will land the takedown and grind out yet another decision win. Roger Huerta got the TKO. I don't think Saad Awad's gonna get TKO'd here. He did get submitted by Gyoti Yamauchi, and he got TKO by Paul Daly, but those two guys have way better finishing capabilities than Chris Gonzalez. So decision win at Chris Gonzalez right there. Darrion Caldwell and Enrique Barzola in the bantamweight division rankings. Both guys not doing too good in their last 5 fights. 34 years old and 32 and a half years old. Darrion 3 inches taller and 3 inches lengthier is gonna be the slightly more I would say more professional MMA experience. I mean, he's been fighting in Bellator since 2014. Fought some really solid guys. Anthony Dizzy, a PFL fighter, Rafael Silva, really good veteran. Sean Bunch, Joe Warren, Leandro Higo, very solid guy. Kyoji Horiguchi twice. Henry Corrales, Adam Boric, AJ McKee Jr., Leandro Higo. All of these guys right here, I would say, are much stiffer and better competition than what Enrique Barzola has faced. I mean, he's faced, I would say, Brandon Davis, decent. Gabriel Benitez, solid. Chris Avila, Horacio Gutierrez, Brandon Davis, Bobby Maffetz, and yeah, he's fought Movsar Evloev and Kevin Aguilar, those type of guys. I'm not saying that the guys that Darrion Caldwell has fought are better than Movsar Evloev, because I believe Movsar would probably beat most of those guys, but I'm saying the overall stretch of guys that Darrion has fought, much better than Enrique Barzola overall, I would say. But I do believe that Darrion Caldwell will be having the wrestling advantage. The striking is going to be very similar. I think if the fight stays on the feet for 3 straight rounds, slightly going to go Enrique Barzola, but I think the takedowns will be mixed in for Darrion Caldwell, and he will kind of keep it even on the feet. Take him down, a little bit of ground and pound, and that will be enough to at least win 2 out of the 3 rounds. The wrestling will be the key factor here, so I'm going to go Darrion Caldwell by unanimous decision, 29-28. Sabah Homasi and Jaleel Willis in the welterweight division. Now, Sabah Homasi, he's a veteran in this Bellator cage or octagon, whatever the case may be. Also fought in the UFC, fighting Abdulrazak Al-Hassan twice. Tim Means, fighting some other solo guys like Curtis Malender, Paul Daly, Andre Koreshkov, but he's now going to be fighting Jaleel Willis, one of the up-and-comers in this Bellator welterweight division, beating Mayhem Mendoza, Mark Lemminger, Vinicius de Jesus, and so many other guys. I'm going to be honest with you, he is going to have the boxing advantage. He is going to be a little bit longer in terms of reach right there. The height isn't really too much there, but he's going to have the wrestling, he's going to have the grappling as well, and the boxing, I'm going to actually give Jaleel Willis a very slight edge, and for those reasons, I do think the fight goes to a decision. I think Jaleel is going to keep the fight pretty even on the feet, slightly out-edge Sabah Homasi in terms of volume. Maybe Sabah lands the more powerful shots, but with the takedowns mixed in, Jaleel Willis should win the fight by unanimous decision. Henry Corrales and Aiden Lee in the featherweight division. Aiden Lee is very tall, very lengthy. He's got 26 years old on his name right there. 6 foot tall, 75-inch reach, very tall, very lengthy, getting a submission win over Alexander Osetrov, only losing to Aaron Pico and Saul Rogers. Saul Rogers, really good grappler, really good wrestler. Aaron Pico, very good wrestler, very good grappler. Henry Corrales, decent wrestler, decent grappler, but I would say with the wrestling and grappling shared between the two, this is going to be a striking fight. And I'm going to be honest with you, Aiden Lee is the better striker. Yeah, Henry might have a little bit more power, but Aiden Lee's a slightly better striker in my opinion, as he's a lot longer, he's got really good kicks at range, and if the fight does hit the mat, I believe Aiden Lee will have the submission advantage. So on the feet, I think kind of point strike, some jab and 1-2 and body kick and leg kick and head kicking at range and winning the fight there. And if the fight somehow hits the mat, I still give Aiden Lee the advantage. So even though he's the underdog, I think the line should honestly be flipped over, as I am going to go Aiden Lee to win the fight by unanimous decision. Benson Henderson and Islam Mamedov in the lightweight division. 20 wins, 1 loss, and 1 loss. 20 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Now, I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to go Islam Mamedov to win the fight by a decision. He's going to be 3 inches taller than Benson Henderson, 3 inches longer than Benson Henderson, and we just saw exactly how Benson lost his last 2 fights. Jason Jackson, as well as Brent Primus, out-wrestled and out-grappled Benson Henderson for 3 straight rounds and won the decision, and before that got knocked out by Michael Chandler, but we're not going to talk about that one. Islam Mamedov, better wrestler, better grappler than both Jason Jackson as well as Brent Primus, so I'm going to be honest with you, this should not be much of a surprise to any of you. Of course, I'm going to go Islam Mamedov, but we got to look at the Bellator rankings. Bellator rankings really quick. I don't know why Islam Mamedov has already beat Brent Primus, but he's ranked below him. I find this very, very odd on the Bellator rankings. He's down here at number 7 in the Bellator lightweight division rankings. He's already beaten Brent Primus. He's probably already going to beat Benson Henderson as well. He should be number 2 right here and probably fight Usman or Mamedov. And then the winner of that one fights the winner of Sydney Outlaw, Patricky Pitbull. That's what I think should happen. I have no idea how he's that low in the rankings. But of course, Islam, better wrestler, better grappler. Striking, it'll probably go Benson. He's got a really good kicking game, very good calf kicks, body kicks, jab 1-2s, all that good stuff. But come on, we watched the last 2 fights. Islam by decision. Really good fight in the lightweight division. Ryan Bader and Valentin Moldovsky in the heavyweight division. 38 years old to 29 years old. Height and reach very, very similar, so we're not really going to talk about that. But yeah, the age is definitely going to play a factor because Valentin is going to be the much, much faster and much, much younger guy. He's got a combat sambo background as well. Decent submissions early in his career, but once he got that step up in competition, Carla Braxton, Carlos Amenatafa, Linton Vassell, Roy Nelson, Tim Johnson, all of those guys, he wasn't really able to out-wrestle and out-grapple for long periods of time. There will be instances here in this Ryan Bader fight that I do believe Valentin will want to show how good of a wrestler and grappler he is, and he will go for a takedown. I do believe that will happen. On the feet, I believe Valentin's faster. He's a little, I wouldn't say more powerful, because Ryan Bader has knocked out Fedor Emelianenko and so many other guys. I don't think he's more powerful than Valentin, or I don't think Valentin's more powerful than Ryan, but he's way faster. I don't think there's going to be a knockout here. Valentin's never been knocked out. Ryan has been knocked out a lot, but Valentin is not really that much of a finisher. I think the fight goes all the way. It is 5 rounds of heavyweight action, so you can definitely expect there to be a knockout. There's definitely a good possibility, but with Valentin not being the biggest finisher, mainly trying to point strike, use his speed advantage, and win the fight by decision in a lot of his fights, then that's what we're going to see here again. We're going to see a lot of volume from Valentin Moldovsky, and I think we're going to see at least 4 out of the 5 rounds go Valentin. I'll give 1 round to Ryan Bader. Maybe edges it out with a big shot on Valentin, but I don't think he gets the finish or anything like that. So my prediction, Valentin Moldovsky, 49-46 decision. Really good fight in the heavyweight division. But yeah, guys, that is Bellator 273, Bader versus Moldovsky. Full card prediction. I got Moldovsky decision, Mamedov decision, Aiden Lee decision. Now, that one could be switched to a submission. You just never know. It could be a late finish, a late knockout, late submission. So that one, very, very undecided on decision or finish. It's very, very close on how he's going to win that fight. But Jaleel Willis by decision, Darrion Caldwell decision, Gonzalez decision, Dalton Rosta knockout, Nikita Mikhailov decision, Lucas Brennan submission, Weber Almeida knockout, and Ben Parrish knockout. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, notifications, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go